at 4. Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, the heat is moving into Kentucky and it's only going to get worse. We've declared a severe weather alert day due to the dangerous conditions expected through the weekend. Chief Meteorologist
And I'm out here live at Thursday Night Live here down in London, and it's hot and it's definitely humid, but the dangerous heat doesn't move in until tomorrow. So if you have time to get out this evening, come down, enjoy some music as they're setting up behind me right now. It starts right around 7 o'clock. It's going to be a great evening to do so because I promise by Friday and into Saturday, you're not going to want to get outside. But as we go ahead and take a look at those Interstate 75 over into London, we started out a little bit on the soggy side earlier, but now we're seeing plenty of sunshine, definitely those hot and very humid conditions. As we look into parts of satellite and radar, you'll notice those pop-up showers and storms that we've been seeing kind of throughout the day as the remnants of Barry continues to push out of the mountains. And as we scan the skies now, we're still dealing with a few of those pop-up showers and storms, but those will really start to move out as we head into the rest of those evening hours. Those have mainly stayed to the west of us as well. As we look at those temperatures, you'll notice they're starting to get a little bit steamy out there, those mid to upper 80s, and that'll just continue to get warmer as we head into those evening hours and as those clouds continue to clear as well. Those dew points definitely on the oppressive category are really above that, those upper 60s to lower 70s. So definitely feeling a little bit muggy out here, but hey, there's a little bit of a breeze going, so it's not too bad. But as we head into, like I said, your Friday and your Saturday, that's when that dangerous heat really arrives, and that's why we have that excessive heat warning for some and then a heat advisory for almost all of our counties. Good news is cold front does arrive, cools us off, and actually we get a very nice cool down as we head into the new work week. Just got to get through this dangerous heat first. I'll have a look at that full forecast live coming up in just a few short minutes. Steve.
All right, Paige, thank you. Now, while people are taking advantage of the sunshine and warm temperatures, it's important to remember to stay cool. Whether you are working in construction or playing at the park, doctors want to remind folks that the heat can cause serious health issues. So they're asking everyone to take the proper precautions so that heat exhaustion or heat stroke can be avoided.
It's really about pacing yourself and staying hydrated. So whether that's, a lot of water or something like Gatorade with electrolytes, because you can lose a lot of sodium when you're sweating a lot. Those are the things you really need to do to try to stay cool.
Dr. Jones also says when you are outside to make sure you take breaks in the shade or indoors. Several areas in Knox County were hit with heavy rainfall last night, causing flash flooding for the second time this month. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds is in the KJ community with more.
County officials say heavy rains in a short amount of time has caused damage to roads, bridges, and even homes in several Knox County communities. Knox County magistrates say the creek beds are full with rocks and trees, especially near Highway 225. Officials say luckily no one had to be rescued, but water did get into several homes after heavy rain struck the county. Magistrates say crews were out at 4:30 this morning trying to clean roadways and fix damage. Crews were also working last week during the first heavy rainfall and flooding. 3rd District Magistrate Tony Golden says he has lived in Knox County for 53 years and has never seen so much flooding so close together.
And this is one of the worst I ever seen it up in here. These houses, these people, they barely do good with their own, and it's just a disaster. It breaks my heart to see these people.
Knox County Magistrate Tony Golden says while they did finish some repairs on flood damage last week, those same areas, as well as some new ones, flooded this week. In Knox County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Magistrate Tony Golden says crews will be out the rest of the day cleaning up the aftermath. A two-vehicle crash in London this afternoon sent one woman to the hospital. It happened at the intersection of Kentucky 192 and London Shopping Center Road. Police say a pickup ran a red light and hit an SUV. The driver of the SUV was flown to UK hospital with severe injuries. Police have not released her name. The man accused of firing at a McCreary County deputy sheriff was in court this morning as the deputy he is accused of shooting continues to improve. Mark Dungan of Pulaski County is accused of firing shots at McCreary County Deputy Tyler Watkins. WYMT's Phil Pendleton was in the courtroom as Dungan answered to the charges.
Mark Dungan of Pulaski County is facing a total of 7 different charges from the violence that played out on Lick Creek Road on Tuesday night. Police are telling us that Deputy Tyler Watkins was simply responding to a welfare check to check on the status of someone, and they say that Dungan opened fire on him. Now, Dungan walked into the courtroom with a large cast on one arm. He's facing charges of attempted murder of a police officer, fleeing or evading, tampering with physical evidence, resisting arrest, wanton endangerment, criminal mischief, and possession of a handgun by a convicted felon. He told the judge that he understood the charges and a not guilty plea was entered for him since he's facing felony offenses. There was no change to his $500,000 bond. Dungan is accused of firing several shots at Deputy Watkins, who is recovering at UT Hospital in Knoxville and will likely stay there for another week. Sheriff Randy Waters says he's doing a lot better.
But he's got a good morale and he really looks good. And he's blessed and we're blessed.
Mark Dungan will be back in court a week from today for a preliminary hearing. As for the deputy, once he is released from the hospital, he's likely going to have several months of recuperation before he's able to go back to work. In McCreary County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Dungan is being represented by a public defender. He told the judge he no longer has a job because of the charges against him. There is another Democrat hoping to challenge Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell in 2020. Mike Breuer of Stanford has set his sights on McConnell. In his campaign announcement video, he says the Republican leader, quote, refined the art of obstruction. Breuer is a Wisconsin native, a retired Marine, and is now a farmer living in Lincoln County. Breuer will look to challenge fellow retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel Amy McGrath in the Democratic primary. A third candidate, Stephen Cox of Madisonville, has also entered the race. Of course, we're still waiting to hear what Matt Jones is going to do. Well, it's been a busy week for SEC football teams as members made their way to Alabama for the annual SEC football kickoff. Today was Kentucky's turn to talk about the upcoming season. Sports Director Marcus Browning has more on the Wildcats in our Big Blue coverage. Marcus?
Yeah, Steve, Kentucky football's regular season doesn't begin until August 31st, but the talking season officially began today as Mark Stoops, Cash Daniel, Lynn Bowden, and Logan Stenberg all were in attendance for the festivities at this year's SEC Media Days down in Birmingham, Alabama. The Wildcats are coming off of the program's best season in 41 years, where they finished with a 10-3 record and were the Citrus Bowl champions. But linebacker Cash Daniel says that they want the program to be consistent rather than just a one-hit wonder.
For me, being a Kentucky kid and growing up, being around Kentucky football my whole life, and growing up, you can't say that you can say that it was inconsistent. My freshman year when we got here, the first building block was laid down. When we made our first bowl games was 2011, and then after that, the next block, was going back to a bowl game, back-to-back consecutive bowl games. And I think that's one thing, that BBM was looking for. More importantly, was just consistency.
The Wildcats start their season off with the Toledo Rockets at the very end of next month. It's the first meeting between these two programs. The game will take place up at Kroger Field on August 31st at noon. I'll have plenty more from the Wildcats down in Birmingham starting on Mountain News at 5:30. Steve.
All right, Marcus, thank you. Let's head over to Wall Street now on this Thursday afternoon where the Dow closes up more than 3 points. The House passed a bill to raise the minimum wage for the first time in a decade. The Raise the Wage Act would bring the federal minimum wage up gradually from $7.25 to $15 by 2025. After that year, the rate will be indexed to the median hourly wage of all workers. The vote was 231 to 199, but it is not expected to get far in the Senate. Straight ahead on First at 4, a popular app that makes users look older is making some lawmakers concerned about national security.
And I'm out here trying to enjoy the weather before the heat really increases as we head into your Friday and into your Saturday as well. I'll have a look at that full forecast coming up in just a few short minutes.